Hej och välkomna till dagens webbinar om automatiskt genererade ritningar för väggblock i Revit. Vi hade en annan rubrik här, men det är ju själva ritningsframställan som vi ska presentera idag. Och det är samarbete mellan AEC och vår partner i Litauen, AGACAD. Vi kommer presentera hur det i detalj fungerar. Jag som pratar nu är Maria Runesson, regionschef ansvarig här i Växjö för AEC. Och vi är 5 personer i Växjö som jobbar mycket med de här produkterna. Och jag kommer nu lämna över till Ieva från AGACADs kontor, så kommer hon presentera hur produkten fungerar, och det kommer bli på engelska. Sen kommer det finnas möjlighet att ställa frågor i slutet av presentationen. Varsågod, Ieva. Over to you.
Okay. Hello everyone. Now I can introduce myself. My name is Ieva and I'm an architect and a BIM consultant from AGACAD. And also I want to mention that during this webinar, if you have any questions, you can write them down in the GoToWebinar dialog under questions. And in the end of the webinar, I will try to answer them. Okay. And now a few words about AGACAD. Our mission is building BIM together, which means that we align our clients' needs and develop solutions for continuous BIM acceleration. Our promise to clients is reducing BIM stress. We help to eliminate tasks that do not create value. AEC and AGACAD work closely in development of solutions of continuous BIM acceleration, and AEC is Autodesk Gold Partner and provides CAD and BIM solutions specifically for the building industry over 25 years. And here you can see all AGACAD's products, and today in this webinar we'll be talking about new functionality, relatively new functionality template project, and it's implemented in wood and metal framing solutions. And I'll demonstrate everything on wood framing solutions. So wood framing software is the only true BIM software for total precision framing of timber constructions in Revit, and it includes everything from design to analysis, documentation, fabrication, and finally construction. In this webinar, you'll learn how to frame walls, including main framing, nailers, and sidings, easily generate sheeting layouts, create a template project from scratch or from an existing project, set up a template project in your current project, and create shop drawings with automatically generated sheets. So wood and metal framing software for Revit has been enhanced to save your time on documentation process. Okay, so let's just jump right in, and I'll open my Revit project. Okay, and right here you can see a residential project that has been partially framed. So some of the walls were fully framed, some of them are not framed yet, and I'll just very quickly show you how you can frame these walls automatically using the framing software for Revit. So right here you can see that I have 2 empty walls in my project, and I've created them with these layers in my Revit project. So I have a main layer for the structure layer for the main frame. I have 2 layers in the exterior side of the wall and also 2 layers in the interior side of the wall. They all have materials assigned to them, and the thickness is correct as well. And then when I created these walls in my Revit project, I can start and map my configurations to these walls. So I can just open my Walllink, and right here I can see the wall structure created in Revit, and I can assign framing layers to them. So for example, in this layer I will add the main frame, and I will assign this particular configuration to this layer, and also I will create secondary frame, horizontal nailers, horizontal siding, sheeting layer, and also assign other configurations to these layers. And these configurations are created right here in the framing configurations window. So in the common settings, I just predefined the main type of studs in the plane, so vertical and horizontal elements that will be distributed in my wall. I can configure the spacing and set an element type that will be used for the main studs. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, right here. And configure top and bottom plates and even offsets around the wall. So also I can set configuration for my opening framing. So openings that are in non-structural and structural walls can be framed differently. Also, different configurations can be assigned for openings that are different sizes, and I can create these configurations for windows, doors, MEP openings. Window and window joint framing is for windows that are close to each other, and window door joint framing is for windows and doors that are close to each other. And I can just open one of these configurations because all of them are very similar. And right here you can see that I can create my own configurations and use them in the future projects later. And right here I can configure the main type of king studs and how many of these elements will be added. Also I can configure the headers, so I can choose from the most popular types that are loaded together with the software, or I can just create my own custom header configuration. And the same goes for the top plate support. And the same goes for the sill plate. I can create my own custom sill plate. So as you can see, it's very flexible. And right here I can set trimmers. So I can set the position, for example, from the bottom plate to header, or from the sill plate to the header, and so on. And in the other studs, I can predefine trimmers, top cripples, and bottom cripples, and also offsets around the opening. And as I mentioned, then I can save this configuration and use it in my future projects. And right here I can configure connections, so I can create different configurations for L connections, then for end connections, V connections, and T connections. All of them are pretty much self-explanatory. So for example, we can take a look at one of them, like L connection. Right here I can configure how elements are distributed in the longer wall in the L connection, and also in the butt connected wall, so shorter wall in the L connection. And again, I can choose between the most popular types that are loaded together with the software, or I can just click on custom join and I can modify my own custom connection. And also I can lengthen the plate in these connections, and also I can add an extension parameters. And also software identifies outer and inner corners, so whether this is the exterior or whether this is the interior. And the same goes for other connections, so we can just choose from these types, or we can create our custom join. And connection is for the free start and free end connection is for the walls that don't connect with anything. These connections are for the walls that are split like so. V connections is for walls that are not connecting in 90 degrees, so more or less 90 degrees. And T connections for the walls that are intersecting each other. And also we can add a ridge stud. We can configure horizontal elements. For example, now I'm adding this type of horizontal element. I'm rotating it, I'm cutting it instead of the studs, and also adding short elements and not one long continuous element. I'm offsetting it from the bottom by this distance, and I'm adding only one element. And also I can add different rules for these horizontal elements. Also, I can add secondary stud system, additional elements, details, and so on. And all these settings can be saved by my own name. It can be put on a shared location even and shared with my colleagues. So these configurations can be created only one time and used in your future projects. And yes, as I mentioned, even shared, put on a server and shared with your colleagues. Yeah, and that's it. They can be created only one time. And when we make these changes, we just save them, and we make sure that the correct configuration is set in the Walllink. Okay, so everything is okay now. And let's say I can see these two empty walls in my project, and I will click on them and use frame wall. And now the software is distributing all those vertical and horizontal structural framing elements in my walls by my configuration. And we'll be able to see that in a minute. And also I'd like to mention that before using the software, of course, we have to load families and schedules, and the software loads all the structural framing elements and structural connection elements that are being distributed right now to these frames. So you cannot use your own families with the software because they have a lot of parameters, a lot of important parameters, but of course we can create new types of these elements if we need different sizes, or we can modify their profiles by editing the families. Okay, so now as you can see, these walls are framed. Okay, and also maybe I will change the header actually, because I remember that I modified this configuration for the header, as you can see, and I forgot to change it. Okay, so maybe I will add this type of header. Okay. Okay, I will change it like this. Save it, and as you can see, I just modified the configuration. So now I can just use update by Walllink, and the changes will be updated by my configuration that has been renewed. And if we need to make any changes in the architectural model, we can just use update frame, and all the frame numbers will be updated. And as I can see, it's changing. My header was changed, so I like it better this way, and I will keep it. Okay, the header was changed, and now I can add additional layers. So now, for example, I can split the sheeting and paneling parts. And now it's splitting the sheeting into two of my walls, and I'll be able to see the sheeting when I will turn on the parts visibility in my model. Because sheeting is created as Revit parts. So now I will turn on parts. Okay, and they are in the interior side of the wall. And as you can see, the parts were split for my walls. So now I can go back to the original view. Yes, I'm sure the parts are split. And now I can frame all my additional layers. So I created two different walls. So one is with the vertical and one is with the horizontal siding. So now I can click on these elements and frame additional layers to this wall, let's say. And now the software is framing 3 layers. So nailers, secondary frame, and siding layer is being framed right now. And when the frame will be created, we will be able to create shop drawings, and that is when I will show you the new features. Okay, this wall has been framed. Also, I will frame all additional layers on this wall as well. And again, the software is distributing structural framing elements by the created framing configuration. Okay. And when they are framed, I will create shop drawings automatically. And just a reminder, if you have any questions, just go ahead and write them in the questions dialog. Okay, as you can see, the walls are framed. One is with the horizontal, one is with the vertical siding, and I can start to create shop drawings. So in previous versions of our wood framing software for Revit, after creating an assembly with automatic dimensions and tags, users had to drag views to sheets and then set those sheets as templates to create other assemblies within that project. And then when users would start a new project, configurations remain and could be used straight away. But the sheet templates had to be created in each project for every configuration from scratch. So for that, I made a configuration without a template project so that I would just show you what we had previously. So we had this configuration with views created automatically, with schedules created automatically, so everything looks okay. But the sheets are without the layouts, because when we just start, we have the sheets without the layouts, and then we have to manually drag and drop these views to the sheets. So now we can create these sheets automatically from the template project. Okay, so that is what we had previously, and now I will just I will disassemble it. I will disassemble this assembly, so my project would be empty for this presentation. Yeah, I'm disassembling it, and now I don't have any assemblies in my project. And now, what is the template project? So in the new versions of wood framing software, we've managed to enhance this workflow. You will not have to create new sheet templates for your assemblies anymore, as you will be able to use the existing ones from the template project. So what is the template project? A template project is a project that has already created assemblies with all the layers that you'll use in your project. So mainframe, nailers, siding, sheeting, and so on, with defined shop drawing configurations and sheet templates. And a few things to note. Yes. So a few things. Your current already framed projects cannot be used as template project, as it would take too long to load because of the template project is open during assembly creation. In addition, 2017 version projects, or in other words, lower version projects than your current project, cannot be used as template projects. Again, because of the time issue. The template project would have to be converted to 2018 version during assembly creation. And I will go back to my template project. And with that in mind, you can create a template project from scratch or from your current project by removing all unnecessary information from it. The content of this template depends on the individual needs of the user. For example, in my template project, I've created 3 wall types. One with the mainframe only, one with the vertical nailers and the horizontal siding, and third with horizontal nailers and vertical siding. Assemblies were created for each wall. Okay. Yes, assemblies were created for each wall, and as you can see in these assemblies, I have already views created and schedules created, and also what I did is I manually composed these sheets in my template project. So I have different sheets for the wall with the vertical siding, a different sheet for the wall with horizontal siding, and a different sheet for the wall with the main frame. And note that frame assemblies in the template project must be created with shop drawing configuration defined in the configuration files location, and it has to be the same as in your current project. Okay. And in this template project also I have in the shop drawing configuration, these sheet templates have to be set. So as you can see, for all my configurations, I've set these sheet templates to be themselves practically. Okay, and I will go back to my current project, and right here, as I mentioned, the configuration files location is the same as the template project. And now you'll have 2 locations you can browse to. So configurations files location and template project location, where you store your template project, which is read by configurations looking for sheet templates. So for this to work smoothly, your current Revit project must have the same view templates, view types, section types, tags, textiles, legends, and so on as the template project. It is important because they will be used in the shop drawing configuration as well as assembly views. So if you are missing them in your current project, you can benefit from 2 new commands. Transfer project standards from the template project and load annotation elements. The first one will open Revit's transfer project standards window with the template project selected and all boxes cleared. So you'll have to select at least 6 items manually. So dimension styles, yes, then filters, then view templates, view reference types, viewport types, and what else? Filters, filters, widget styles, text styles, I think. So this process unfortunately cannot be automated because of Revit's limitations, but it's not a big deal, to select them. And the second command, load annotation elements, will load Revit's tags, callout heads, section types, title blocks, schedules, and legends from the template project. And note that if you are starting the project from scratch, you may not need to use these functions if you receive the Revit model from the architect. However, you cannot be sure what was used there, so it's better to load everything you need from the template project. And after you set up your template project location and are sure that you have all the necessary families and templates in the current project, you can go ahead and create frame assemblies. And your assemblies will have views and schedules placed on sheets, just like in the template project for the selected configuration. So as I mentioned, we don't have any assemblies created right now. So in the shop drawing configuration, you'll see that we have the same configurations, but in the sheets we don't have these sheet templates, but because we don't have any assemblies created. So the software will read template project, and right here I can see the location. So this template project will be read, and my sheet templates will be created nevertheless, even though I don't have them right here. Okay, and that's it. And now we can create frame assembly. Okay, we'll click on this wall and press Create Frame Assembly. And another great enhancement in the newest release of our framing software is the ability to control which shop drawing configuration will be used when created an assembly. Because previously, when you had several configurations in the current project, current configuration was used when creating frame assembly. That was not very convenient, as you had to either remember which configuration was currently set or change the current configuration every time you need it. So luckily that has now been improved. So for example, this is a wall with the vertical siding, and as you can see, I can just choose. So of course, obviously, I'll choose this one. Create. And from now on, when you'll use Create Frame Assembly, the software will let you choose between all configurations you have, and moreover, you can set the configuration in the wall type properties. So I'll show you that in a minute as well. Okay, and now it's creating not only the views with the sheets, but also not only detailed views with the schedules, but also we'll see that the sheets will be created with all those assembly views laid out in those sheets automatically. Okay, and as you can see, the assembly was created. And as always, we have these views. So the 3D view, assembly front view, section view, frame front view, where all elements are tagged and dimensioned automatically. Now I can use sort structural framing by wall mark, and these tags will be filled in with the values that structural framing elements have set in these configurations. So they will be, the values will be written into the tags shortly, automatically. And we have to use this function only one time when we frame the whole project, because now it's sorting these elements in the whole project and not only for this assembly. Yeah, you can see that they were automatically tagged, and the sheets were tagged as well. Framing plan detail, horizontal nailers, secondary frame, vertical siding, and all of that is created, and also schedules are created automatically, as you can see. Horizontal nailers, secondary frame, and also you can see that these sheets are not empty. These views are already added to the sheets, and they are added to the identical locations as they are added in the template project. So I don't have to manually compose these sheets right now. From the very first assembly, I can create these sheets automatically. Yeah, and another great thing that you saw when I created this wall, I had to choose that I want to use this vertical configuration, but we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that if we write the configuration name in the wall style properties. So I will just go to the framing configuration window, or I'm sorry, to the shop drawing configuration window. Yeah. And for example, for this wall with horizontal siding, I can copy this name. I copied it, and I can go to this views type, to this walls type properties, edit, and you see that it has a shop drawing configuration. Oh, and actually it had it right here. No, okay, I think so. It's this one. Yeah, I have to write it right here. And now when I'll create the frame assembly, yeah, you see that the software did not ask me what configuration do I want to use, because I set it in the walls type properties, so it knows. So for all of these walls with horizontal siding, now I wouldn't have to choose for every wall, like horizontal, 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 because the software already knows. I've set it in the walls type properties. And also this this name of the configuration will be written into the assemblies instance parameter. And also I will show you that in a minute when the assembly is created. Okay, and I can see that I have one question. Can I look this webinar somewhere again and show it to my colleagues? And of course, you'll be able to review this recording of this webinar again. It will be placed on our YouTube channel, and you'll receive an automatic follow-up email with the link, I believe. Okay. Okay, so now, as I mentioned, we wrote shop drawing configuration in the walls type properties, and also you see that it has this instance parameter SDC shop drawing configuration, and it was filled in automatically what configuration was used. And again, we can go ahead and look at this assembly. So again, the views were created. The frame front view, as you can see, I don't have to use sort structural framing by wall mark again, because as I mentioned, they were all marked globally for my whole project. And all other views were created, tagged, and dimensioned automatically. And again, the sheets, they are created automatically by my template project. So here you go, completely new functionality template project that will save you a lot of time on your project documentation. So that is the whole workflow I wanted to show you today. As I mentioned, you can go ahead and ask me anything if you'd like, and if you'll think of any questions later, you can go ahead and write me an email and I will try to help you. And now I will, Maria, I will make you the presenter again and you can say a few words.
Ja. Vi får se om det fungerar. Så. Ja, som ni hörde så får ni jättegärna ställa fler frågor och ni kan mejla oss frågor såklart. Men om ni vill prova produkterna så finns det trials att ladda hem, och de finns även på vår hemsida aec.se. Så kan man få ladda hem och prova i 2 veckor. Och de flesta produkterna kan vi svara på och hjälpa er med om ni har frågor. Man kan också kontakta vår säljverksamhet om ni vill ha lite prisförfrågningar på de här produkterna. Och vill ni bara ställa frågor kring framing som var det första när hon la ut de här reglerna och ställde upp konfigurationer för hur väggar ska reglas upp, så går det jättebra att kontakta oss i Växjö eller även då säljverksamheten. Vi spelar ju in de här webbinaren och det kommer skickas ut till alla deltagarna, samt att det kommer finnas på AGACADs YouTube-kanal, så man kan alltid se dem igen. Vi tackar så hemskt mycket för oss. Om ni inte har mer frågor. Jag ser inte om det kommer några frågor, så jag utgår från att ni är nöjda så länge. Så vi tackar så mycket för idag. Och välkomna åter. Hej då, bye bye!
AGACAD, building BIM together.